Every so often, the boundary between the deep ocean and our shallow coastlines breaks down. The sea spits out biological anomalies that seem to defy categorization. In October 2012, beachgoers in Pompano Beach, Florida, found this. It's a massive, disembodied blue eyeball, roughly the size of 2 human hands. To the people who pulled it from the sand, it looked like a piece of a deep-sea monster. We see the exact same reaction decades earlier. In 1977, a Japanese fishing vessel called the Tsuyomaru hauled up a rotting carcass from a depth of 300 meters. It weighed nearly 2 tons, had a long neck, and looked exactly like a prehistoric aquatic reptile. These decaying discoveries immediately ignite public myths of sea serpents. We are so completely disconnected from the deep ocean's biology that our first instinct is to assume a legendary leviathan has washed ashore. The reality is that deep water decomposition distorts anatomy in highly predictable ways. As tissues break down in the water, they create bizarre silhouettes that trick the human eye. Take a living basking shark, cruising with its massive jaw wide open. When this shark dies and decays, its heavy lower jaw and large fins fall off first. What remains is a small skull attached to a long, slender spine, a shape that perfectly mimics a prehistoric aquatic dinosaur. This biological trickery is responsible for legendary cryptids, like the Cadborosaurus. In 1937, sailors claimed to have pulled the remains of a long-necked sea serpent directly from the stomach of a sperm whale, much like the one swimming here. It was, of course, a decomposing fish. Modern biology easily identifies these anomalies, yet our collective obsession with sea monsters refuses to die. These misidentifications are a modern habit, but they mirror a much older, documented pattern of displacement, a time when massive marine predators arrived in these shallow environments, not as carcasses, but as living invaders. Millions of years ago, a massive storm surge dragged the ocean far inland, crashing a catastrophic wall of water over the prehistoric coastline, carrying a marine titan entirely out of its element. Caught in the crushing weight of the tsunami, a massive warm-water sea serpent known as Paleophys found itself stranded in a completely alien freshwater swamp. This chart compares daily caloric requirements of a standard swamp predator with the displaced Paleophys. The serpent's massive size demands astronomical energy. To survive, it targets heavy land mammals like Coryphodon. Local residents have no evolutionary defense, and its appetite rapidly drains the population. The massive caloric deficit causes a systemic disruption. The serpent rapidly depletes the ecosystem's foundation, forcing a direct confrontation with the swamp's existing hierarchy. Watching its food supply vanish, the old king of the swamp arrives. The fossilized skull you see here belongs to an apex native crocodiliiform, a massive reptile built to rule these specific waters. This native predator relies on heavy, interlocking reptilian scales to deflect attacks. Its anatomy is biologically optimized for sudden, bone-crushing bite force in the shallows. It expects an opponent it can grab and tear apart. The marine serpent fights differently. It utilizes stealth ambush tactics adapted from the vast open ocean, sliding its massive coils silently past the sunken roots. The serpent's primary evolutionary weapon is total constriction. It strikes out of the dark, applying an inescapable, crushing embrace. The crocodiliiform's heavy armor and bite force offer zero protection against the sheer constricting mass of the sea serpent. The native predator is completely immobilized. With the native apex predator dead, the swamp's hierarchy is broken. The food chain now leads to a single foreign appetite. Today, scuba divers and beachgoers still comb the coastal shelves, occasionally pulling up bizarre artifacts, from giant 6-foot metal knives to creepy, forgotten statues overgrown with algae. We are desperate to find a monster in the deep. Science provides the identification for these anomalies, but it doesn't erase the primal instinct triggered by these shapes. The prehistoric fossil record validates our deepest mythological fears. It documents the reality of unstoppable aquatic titans crossing into our world. These sea monster legends are built on modern mistakes, but they describe an ancient truth. The fossil record confirms that when the ocean forces its titans into a new environment, the local balance is lost.